Hello, Baldwinsville. I'm Rob Just, and thanks for tuning in to PAC-B TV. I'm here at Baldwinsville Theater Guild with Catherine Woods. And if you remember, hopefully you do, I think it was back in April we were here, back at the beginning of the season. And we thought we'd come back towards the end of the season and have more conversations with some of the potential cast members of upcoming shows and other people involved. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Correct. Yeah.
What's going on?
So a lot of chatter today. So we have our cast from for our 80th anniversary production of A Chorus Line in house today to get all their headshots for the final kind of number at the very beginning of the show, where they show their headshots before they're collected by the assistant to the director of the show. And they're getting their costume fittings for all those wonderful gold lame costumes that are at the end of the show for the song One. So that's what we're doing here today.
So you have, is it 7 shows during the year?
We do 4 shows a year and 3 to 4 special one night only special events.
Now, is this the last of the season?
This is the last of our 80th anniversary season for 2022, yes.
Wow. Now, can you give the audience, for those who haven't seen it yet, a quick, 1 or 2 minute synopsis of what it is?
Yeah.
Without giving too much information.
Yeah, so there's really not a lot of information to give away. This show was conceived by Michael Bennett in the late 70s. He sat down with a bunch of chorus line performers and asked them their stories, and video and audio taped those stories, and then took those stories and combined some of them or isolated some of them and created this wonderful show about kind of the unsung heroes of a show, and that's the chorus line.
Oh, okay. Now, when is the show, first of all?
The show is going to be October 28th and 29th in the evenings at 7:30, and then we do have a matinee on the 29th of October at 2 p.m., but we will not be at our home stage here at the First Presbyterian Church. We will actually be performing on the big stage at C.W. Baker High School right here in Beeville.
That's got to be exciting.
It is very exciting. It'll be really great to see this wonderful cast on an actual huge stage and showing the show the way it was meant to be shown.
Now, that's not the first time you've had a show at...
No, we've had a history of being at Baldwinsville High School. We have not done a show there since they did all of the renovations of the auditorium, though. So for those of our audiences who haven't gotten to see what a wonderful space that auditorium is, they're going to be amazed because it is state of the art. And to have that right here in our community is just, it's a joy. As a parent of children who actually perform in there quite regularly, it's just an amazing joy to watch.
Now, do you use any Baker students for the
So we will be using Paula Pickering, who is the house manager, so to speak, over there. She's in charge of all the technical stuff. She will be using students to help run the light boards and the sound boards and the spotlights. We'll probably be using students as our ushers this time around just because they're familiar with the space, so it makes it a little easier for that. And then we actually have one current Baker student in the show and at least one recent graduate, but we also have a few former graduates. They're a little bit older who might kill me if I tell their ages. So.
Now, how could we get tickets?
So you can get tickets by going to www.baldwinsvilletheaterguild.org, and as I always say, theater is spelled R-E, not E-R, and just click the link for tickets or click the link that says current shows, and the chorus line will pop up and it'll take you straight to tickets. We do have early bird ticket pricing right now of $22 until the 15th of September, and then it'll go to our regular pricing of $26 for adults and $22 for seniors and students.
Now, I know you're on the board.
I am. Well, actually, I'm not on the board anymore. Last time we talked, I was on the board.
Right, and you were treasurer.
I was treasurer. Now I am managing director of the guild. Okay. So I'm no longer a board member. I am considered staff.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Our pleasure. Hi, I'm with Shannon Tompkins now, and you are the director of A Chorus Line.
Yes.
What else?
I'm also choreographing the entire show as well.
And how long have you been involved with BTG?
Actually, I've only directed one other show, Assassins, a couple years ago, pre-pandemic. Yes.
Now, how did you get involved with theater? I mean,
I've been a dancer since I was 4, and the first show I ever saw locally was Jesus Christ Superstar when I was 12, and I immediately wanted to be in it. And I think I did Superstar like 3 or 4 times before I did anything else. I thought that was the only show there was to do in town, so I think everybody did do Superstar once or twice in their life and then did other shows, but yeah.
are you involved with other Central New York theaters?
Yeah. I do a lot for CNY Playhouse and BTG. There's not a ton of other theater that goes on right now. I've done a lot for, it used to be called Covey Theater, but now they do Syracuse Summer Theater, and they've like segued into a lot of other venues too as well. Yeah, and I do a lot for some high school shows.
Now, how long has this cast been together?
It's very recent. It's very
Okay.
recent. We haven't actually officially started rehearsals yet. We are doing like pre-rehearsal dance classes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you were already well into it.
Now, you would think that they are all very excited and they all act like they have known each other for a month or 2 or 3, but a lot of them do know each other.
From
but-
other venues, other
Yeah. Yes, but a lot of them are very new to each other, and we've had 4 like official warm-up kind of dance classes to get ready to go. Yeah.
And how large is the cast? It looked pretty big online when I was checking it out.
Yes, there are 19, there are 19 named characters, and then there are an extra 10 featured dancers in the show, what we would normally call cut dancers, who are only in the opening number, and then they don't make it into the show during like the audition process of a chorus line. So they get to do this gigantic opening number, and then they're kind of done for the rest of the show.
So when do the rehearsals get going? Full speed?
A week from
Pretty soon?
A week from yesterday. Yes, on Tuesday. Yeah.
Now, will you be going, since the show is at Baker's, will you be
Yes.
going there for some rehearsals too? Or?
Not until the week before. Yeah. And so we have several other venues around town that we are using to rehearse at that have like graciously given us their space for an extremely small amount of money to
That's key.
yeah, exactly.
That's key.
Yeah, everyone's been very, very kind. So we needed a lot of places with a lot of mirrors, which is really hard to come by in Central New York. So we asked a lot of different places, and people came forward with their space so that we could
good.
rehearse all over town. Yeah,
Good.
we covered like several places. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I hear a little activity out there, so you're probably wanted out there.
Yes.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
And buy your tickets now. Hurry
Yes,
up.
please.
You don't want to miss it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I am with Stefan Brunson, one of the leads. You play Zach.
Zach, yes.
Okay. Well, hold off on that for a second. We'll get to that. But first, I want to know about your growing up in the theater. How did you become involved in theater?
Shannon Tompkins, the one who is actually directing this show. I've worked with Shannon since I was about 16 years old. And my big professional show 17 years ago was a chorus line. So I'm actually coming back to the
Wow.
show 17 years later. So I've grown up in the theater. This is like my home, and going to the journalism world and now coming back to it's a great thing.
So you did all through high school, all
Yes.
the school plays?
Yes. That's where you get your start. That's your foundation.
Did you have any family members that were in?
No, I decided to be the, as I call it, the weird one to do. And weird is good. Weird is good.
What other venues and other shows have you done locally in Central New York?
I can probably say I've worked with every theater company in town. I've worked with Baldwinsville Theater Guild. I've directed and choreographed, and also was in a couple of shows. I've worked with Syracuse Stage, the Red House. I worked at Red House for about 10 years. So I've gotten around.
Was it always on stage, or was any of it behind the scenes, or
Yeah,
was acting?
so when I started out as a dancer, and then moved up and did some performing roles. Then I moved to choreographer, then director, and then when the Bones started trying to get them to move like they used to, I decided that I would go into more of like an admin role. So
Okay.
so now I'm coming back into dancing. I can still kick my leg, behind my ear. It just takes a little extra time.
You just got to do extra stretching.
A little
That's
extra
all.
stretching,
That's all.
yeah.
Happens to all of us.
Yeah.
What was your favorite role the past 10 years?
In the past 10 years, I would say my favorite role was Marcellus in the musical.
Oh, okay. So now give the audience a quick, without giving too much, quick 30-second just information about Zach, about what type of character he is.
Well, I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to play Zach a little differently because I started out on the line. I started out as a dancer, so coming back as now playing the director choreographer, I've been in their shoes. So I'm actually pulling for every single one of them. Usually when you see Zach on stage, he's a little meaner. I'm actually going to be a little bit funnier.
So they softened up Zach.
I think I'm going to soften him up just a little bit. And it's a little heartbreaking because you're watching Zach up there going, I want to be on stage. I want to be, doing that. But it's time to bring the next generation of dancers and, letting them take the lead.
Oh, good. Now, I mean, it's so obvious to see the passion. We talk to whether it's director or an actor, actress. The passion is there. You have to have it to put in the hours. Now, obviously, this is not a full-time job. What do you do outside of BTG?
I host a show for PBS.
Really? Okay.
I actually host a show. It's called Inside the Stories, and I handle all of the North Country and Ontario. So any stories people bring in, I'm just very curious and want to know about people and about life. So taking my artist, life and still bringing it to a different realm.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. I hope you see. Are you coming to see the show?
Absolutely.
You better be.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
As you can see, I'm with Stefan still, but
Still
we
here.
have a new entry into the picture, Jody.
Hey!
Tell us a little bit about your role in this chorus line.
Okay, so I am playing Lori, which is a gender flipped role. I'm playing the assistant to Zach, the director, choreographer. The part was written as a male, but it can be played by either, it really doesn't matter. So I'm the one putting the dancers through their paces, and it's gonna be fun. I'm excited about it.
Now, for the audience, it may get monotonous because I'm going to ask her the same questions, just because I'm interested in what's your background? How'd you become involved in theater?
Yeah, so I've been dancing since I was a little girl at Syracuse School of Dance is where I started. I got involved in community theater in my teenage years. I did a lot of shows with the Talent Company and other groups that were around at that time. That's where I met Stefan many, many years ago.
We won't say the date.
We'll leave the date out of it, but I went to Geneseo and I studied dance more. I minored in dance and studied dance composition, and then I got involved in choreographing for community theater productions, largely as a way to stay engaged with dance, but found that I also had a great love for theater. So I'm an audiologist now. I've got 2 kids. I'm a grown lady, but I still keep up with theater and dance as much as possible just because I really enjoy it. And Chorus Line is one of those bucket list shows that as a dancer, when someone is doing Chorus Line, you
have to
do it. So, yeah.
Do you do other shows in the area? Are you involved with other theater? Of course you are. You
I
have to be.
am,
Everyone
yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, I've been stepping back in recent years to spend more time with my kids and my family, but this was one that I had to come out and do it.
How old are your children?
They just had birthdays, 11 and 9.
Are they heading towards the theater yet, or?
Potentially. My 9-year-old just started dance classes.
What?
Yeah.
Did you ever?
Yeah. Yeah, Jack is in dance class.
Yes.
He's doing ballet at SSD, so yeah. And my older son did the 5th grade musical last year. And he liked it. He's not sure if he wants to keep up with it. So we'll see.
Following mom's footsteps.
Yeah.
The impression I always get, because my daughter's been in theater for years, is that you guys are like a close-knit fraternity. That you come together through these community, plays. That once it's over, you may not be together in a play for 2 or 3 years, but you keep the contact. Now, you had mentioned earlier that Stefan had got you involved. How often do you see him in the theatrical setting?
We haven't seen each other in a while.
Not in a while. We see each other kind of in passing. We go to each other's shows.
Okay.
We haven't
Support
actually
each other.
had an opportunity to work together in a really long time.
In a long time. But
Yeah.
the thing about Community is like once we get on stage together, it's just
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't speak for everyone. I know the way I operate is like when I do a show with people and it's like a close group like that, I have love for those people, and even if I don't see them regularly,
Right.
you know, when you do see them either out somewhere else or you do another show together, it just seems to all kind of fall back into place. And so I think it's such an important shared experience, you know,
Right.
just coming together to create something, a story to
Like I
share
said,
with
it's
the
like that
audience.
fraternity
Yeah.
that not a lot of people have, this
Right.
talent. You know, I see the rapport between the two. You're just sitting right here. It's-
well, I will be relying on you when I yell 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm like,
Right.
what's the combo? I don't know.
I got you.
So what do you do outside of theater? In real life, what do you do?
So I'm an audiologist. I work Hearing Life and Manliness, so that's my day job. I take dance classes when I can. I don't get to do it as often as I used to because I'm focusing a lot on my kids right now. So I take them to their activities, and I'm recently married, so just enjoying family life and home life. And, yeah,
It's a busy life.
busy life. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Of course, thank you.
I'm sure the audience is going to get a thrill out of seeing this.
I mean, another 20 years we'll jump back on stage.
I know,
Another show.
I know, right? Probably not chorus line,
I know,
though.
not
Probably
chorus line.
something else.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Look forward to seeing it.
Hello again. I'm now with Haley and Sierra. Tell me a little bit about your position in your part.
My role in the show.
Yeah.
So I play Sheila, who is a very seasoned dancer. She also has the most attitude out of anyone in the line. She does not take no for an answer. She knows how good she is, and she knows her self-worth, which is really great. So female empowerment, it's really great.
Now you're also president of the board.
I am. That's not why I got the part.
You read my mind.
I earned it. I did. Yes, I am president of the guild. This is my 5th year as president. This will be my 6th year serving on the board of directors. Yeah. It's been
And
fun.
Allie, your
Great.
part.
Yep, I'm playing Maggie. She's a little bit more optimistic than Sheila is. She really hopes for the best, and she's been through some tough times. Her parents have kind of a broken marriage. They thought having a daughter would save it. It didn't end up working out, so she kind of dances to escape from her real life.
Okay. Now, I know Haley, you've been in theater quite a bit. Now, you both probably have. How'd you originally get involved or get the interest in theater?
My first show I was 4. The first Broadway show I was taken to, I was about 2 years old, and I guess the whole way home I was humming and singing all the tunes. My mom's like, I have to get this girl in classes. So my first show I was The Wizard of Oz, and I was a poppy seed, so I literally just walked on the stage and I sat down.
You gotta start
and I
somewhere.
walked off. It
You
was
gotta
great.
start somewhere.
And then I just did community theater throughout. I went to college down in Clemson, came back, and then me and Amy were actually in a show together in Chicago,
Right.
so that got me back
Yeah.
involved. So.
Okay, good.
My story is actually a little bit different. I didn't start doing theater until I was maybe in like junior high. Yeah, crazy. yeah.
That's so late in life for theater.
Well, it is. I'm a music teacher too. Locally, I teach in Oswego City School District, and I teach youth theater. But my first show that I was on stage in was Your Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was Woodstock. They wrote that part in because they wanted to put me in the show, but I was a little bit overzealous. They wanted me to be quiet, so they gave me the non-speaking role. Yes, yeah, but I've been doing theater ever since. I direct youth theater here at Baldwinsville Theater Guild. I direct shows at my school in Oswego. I choreographed the Weedsport High School musical and now the Oswego City School District musical.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your favorite role, Allie?
Oh gosh, there's been a couple. I would say my favorite was when I played Sherry in Rock of Ages. That was a dream role of mine. Thank you. For so long, and then they did it locally, and I tried out. So that was definitely one of my favorite roles.
I saw it. She was really good.
And your favorite?
Oh gosh, I've got two. I know it's hard to pick.
All right, we'll let you have two.
I played Alice here at Bright Star and at BTG, which was a really great a role that was originally by Joe Cusack, or not Joe Cusack, Carmen Cusack, in a bluegrass musical.
Which
and,
she was great in.
Oh, thanks. And Adelaide in Guys and Dolls.
Now, did you two know each other before involvement here? Had you been in any plays before?
So I think our first show together was chess.
Yeah.
But we didn't know each other outside of theater.
Okay.
So we became friends.
Theater's great for that.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're a music teacher
I am.
in real life.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and Hallie, what do you do? in
I
real
do
life?
HR, so I'm an
Okay.
HR manager over at Bon Shannon and King.
But this is more fun. Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I teach music, so.
Well, it's the same thing, yeah. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having
Can't wait
us.
for the show.
Yeah,
I'm
we
going to
can
bring
as well.
Amy to it.
Yes,
so.
Amy better come.
Wait, Amy.
Just.
I know Amy. Everybody knows Amy though.
I know, everyone
When
knows
she did High School Musical 2 at Syracuse Children's Theater,
And she was...
she was in maybe 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah.
I was the music director. The world is a small place.
Yep.
Theater
You
makes
can
friends.
edit all this out. We don't need to show this on TV. Yeah, everyone knows Amy.
Yeah, she's the best.
I go by Amy's dad. because
Perfect.
Everyone knows.
Well, that's really a place of honor, isn't it?
That's right.
though?
It is. It is.
Wonderful. Well,
Thanks
thanks for
again.
having us. Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for doing this for the Theater Guild. We really appreciate having
Absolutely.
you guys here. Please feel free to come see us anytime. The doors are always open to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Tell them you guys say hi.
I sure will. Hi, I'm now with Katie Lemos Brown. And tell us about your part. Who you
So
are.
I play Cassie,
Okay.
and she is a pretty substantial part in the show. She does make the first cut into the line, spoiler alert, and you get to hear her story. So, and she has a history with Zach, who's the director, and you learn a little bit about that and her story and her drive and need to make the show.
Now we've been talking to 4 or 5 cast members, and everyone has started in theater when they were that tall. What about you?
Yeah.
The history of it. When did you start? And
Yep. I grew up in Camillus, so a big part of the theater scene. My mom, Sherry Lemos Pierce, she's been a director around here for a very long time, has since retired. My dad, Lou Lemos, is in the choral. He does the Syracuse Pops, and so having a history family of theater people.
You had to go that route.
I didn't have to. They actually really wanted me to be a lawyer, but the stage had it for me. So I started dancing when I was 3. First show I was in was Oliver with Theater 90, and I was 9, and couldn't step away after that. So.
What's your
Here I
favorite
am.
role that you ever did?
Let's see. Cassie is a dream role, have to admit.
Really?
I would say Jo March in Little Women is my favorite to date. She's a good one.
Now, this is a large cast, right?
Yeah.
Now, how many? Do you know most of them from other shows you run into?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I've also taken a little bit of a break
Okay.
to have wonderful children and to enjoy their young years. They're still little guys. So it's been a little while since I've been on the scene. So my last show was 7 years ago, and this is a new era is here. So I'm excited to be part of it.
And you're going to continue with it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Not stopping now.
Now, outside of theater, in the real world, what do
Yeah.
you do?
Well, I am transitioning from career, so I just finished a career in wedding planning and design. I had a wonderful business, and it was just a really special time in my life. But it asked me to be someone career-wise that I
Didn't want
didn't want to be anymore. So I've let go of that and finding my way. But my husband and I have been flipping houses,
Okay.
and it started as an investment project, and it's just grown to be our main thing. So.
And how old are your children?
3 and 6.
Well, 6-year-old, you can probably get going towards
Oh,
theater,
sure.
right?
Oh, towards the theater. Oh my gosh, they're both a bunch of hams.
Well, Well, thank you, Katie.
Yes.
And we are looking forward to the show in
Us
October.
too.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye. Hi, I'm now with Felipe Panama, who plays Paul.
Correct.
Okay, now give us a little insight into Paul. What's the character like?
Well, Paul has one of the longest monologues, if not the longest monologue in the entire
what we heard.
work. And it's a really heartfelt coming out story. It talks about Paul's process of realizing his sexuality and the troubles that it brought him in his performance career and his relationship with the family. So you get a little bit of that arc of his story, even though we're at that audition. So it's a pretty strong story.
How was the role? Pretty intense?
The role,
Preparing for it?
It's definitely hits a little close to home, I'll say that. But my relationship with my sexuality was different, so it's good to take both from my own personal experiences and together with something else that we're creating, with the direction of the creative team.
Now, is this your first show with Baldwin's Theater Guild?
Yes, this is my first time performing with the Baldwinsville Theater Guild.
Well, welcome.
Thank you, I'm excited.
What else do you do in the area? Have you done other theaters and other plays?
Yes, well, originally I moved from San Antonio in Texas to work with Syracuse City Ballet. I'm also starting my second year as a professor of dance at Syracuse University. So I teach ballet and I teach jazz and I teach contemporary to the musical theater students at SU.
Wow. So how did you get into theater and dance originally, way back when?
Well, it was, let's say about 15 years ago. I was a late starter in Mexico. Nowadays it's a little bit different, but in my times, dancing wasn't something that people did regularly. Not even for the girls. The dance culture is less than it is here. Here it's a little bit more common. So I took my first lessons in dance in high school and I immediately fell in love with it. I did a first semester in college of something else and I decided I wasn't going to make my parents pay for that because I didn't want to do that. And then long story short, I went to dance school and I've been really lucky to have a really beautiful career on the stage.
So you moved to Central New York from Texas?
Yes.
Okay. How is the culture in terms of the theater, Central New York compared to San Antonio?
Well, San Antonio is a much larger city. It has almost like 2 million people, but there is a really close-knit arts community here in Syracuse, which has been doing really great things. I think I was pleasantly surprised to see all of the creative work that went down in the pandemic. I think the city is slowly getting back on its feet, progressively forward, and just as the economy, the arts are right behind it. So I'm really thankful for the people that I've met here and for the opportunities that we've created together.
Now, since this is your first show here,
It's my first show with in Baldwinsville.
Theater. Now, you still know a lot of the cast members from other.
Actually, I don't.
No?
Actually,
Really?
I don't.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, the thing is, I'm a little bit more from the ballet world, especially when I came here. Now I'm getting to know the cast members, and I realize that I have a lot of acquaintances and friends in common with the cast members, but I'm just getting to know them myself now.
Are you going to do more here in Baldwin?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll have me back.
Well, thank you for your time, Felipe.
No, thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you all.
We are looking forward to October to come see the show.
No, definitely. We'll see you at the show. Get
Absolutely.
your tickets.
I will. Okay. We are back with Catherine Woods. Catherine, we've just met with 5 or 6 cast members, and I don't know about everyone else, but I'm excited.
Yes, it's a fantastic
Very
cast.
enthusiastic.
And a very diverse cast, which is really a quality that Colin Keating and I, as artistic director, really wanted to showcase, because the quality and the diversity of theater in Central New York is so wide, and why not show it on our stage?
And just the rapport and the cohesiveness that they have is just amazing.
Yeah, and that's theater. It is theater. You may audition cutthroat to get the same part, but when all is said and done, you become a family, and the common goal is the same: to put on a great show,
To entertain.
So there's no animosity in the theater.
So October 28th, 7:30.
Correct.
October 29th, 2 p.m. and
Correct.
7:30.
Correct.
And
At C.W. Baker High School.
C.W. Baker High School, forget that one. Get your tickets online.
Online at www.baldwinsvilletheaterguild.com. PAC-B.org. $22 until September 15th, and then it's $26 for adults and $22 for students and seniors.
So get your early bird special, $22, save $4 a ticket.
Yes.
What a way to end the 80th year.
It is, and we're very excited about our 81st year, which we
Can you fill us in on anything yet?
I can. So we are going to actually open with a CNY Community Theater premiere. So nobody has done this locally, and our Stefan Brunson is going to be directing it. And we are doing the Broadway acclaimed show, Kinky Boots.
Wow.
So that will be in our January, February spot. And then in May, we will be bringing back something that actually had to close down in 2020 because of the pandemic. So we are bringing back the same director, and most of the cast. Some of the cast had moved away, but we will be doing the Laramie Project, which is about the hate crime murder of Matthew Shepard in Laramie, Wyoming. Crystal Osborne will be directing that. And then we are bringing back our summer youth production, and we're bringing Christmas to July by doing Elf the Musical with our students.
My all-time favorite.
Sarah Windhausen will be back directing, along with our music director, Nick Godzak will be coming back for that. So we're just waiting for the finalization of rights on that one, but we're optimistic on that. And then we will be closing out the year in October with a play called Almost Maine, which will be directed by Chris Spring, who is a new director to Baldwinsville Theater Guild, not to the area, but to Baldwinsville Theater Guild. Right. So it's very exciting to have her directing for the first time on our stage, and that is a short, a series of 9 short vignettes within a cohesive story about Almost Maine, where there talks about relationships and love and loss and how this town, this fictional town of Almost Maine, handles that and comes through it. So we are very excited.
Sounds like a great 81st season.
It's going to be a great 81st season. So come to the theater.
But until then, we have a chorus line.
Until then, we have a chorus line, and we need to fill all 890 seats of that theater. So come get your tickets and see a great show.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for allowing us to speak with some of your cast members.
Oh, yes.
I know it sounds pretty crazy out there.
It does, but you can tell they're having a good time and that they're getting along, and that's what we want. So
looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.